important because it's about dealing with different people, other people, and what could be more important in almost any profession, but actually collaborating. So I thought I'd start with this one. Now, I've come across at least 5, 6, maybe more different frameworks and approaches for understanding personalities. And I've generally, I mean, they vary in complexity. Some which split people, or at least have 4 categories, let's call it. Some go up to like 32 or even more. And I've found them all fascinating. I mean, they're all very interesting, and you reflect on them, don't you, when you do these kind of evaluations of yourself, kind of thing. But I have also struggled a bit with how useful they are in a business context. Actually using them to help you do a better job. So I've spent a lot of time actually thinking about how to distill this into something that's very actionable. So, I'll show you the overall sort of initial framework, and it'll probably be very familiar to you. I'm sure it will to many people. It's the idea that there are, at the most basic level, there are probably about 4, let's call them tendencies, personality tendencies. Yeah. So what it means is that people often have a preference. They lean towards one of them a bit more than others quite often. That's quite common, or at least they have that tendency more often in their life, or more occasions. So the way I've summarized it is, there are people who like to get it right, absolutely precise and accurate and robust. There are people who really want to focus on getting it done, getting on with it, getting it accomplished. There's also people who have a tendency for getting somewhere new, learning something. I'm just fascinated with ideas and development, and I'm very much in that area, as those who know me can tell. And then there are others who are very interested in people and harmony and getting people getting on well and collaborating really, really well. And you can see immediately, these are all very valuable for business. All of these are essential for successful businesses and teams. But we know that some people with one tendency don't often get on well with others. So, okay, that's all very well. But in the book, it helps you, gives you ideas about how to spot people with these tendencies. But the bit I'm most proud about is this grid. Okay, so this is a grid of which I use myself. I use this, and I've been using this myself for about 10 years now, as I've been building the framework for me. And that is, for example, let me just go through this. So, for example, if you're working with someone who likes to get it done, then a good way to persuade them is by talking about end results. Okay? I'm going to go diagonally down the column. If you're talking to someone who likes to get it right, and you need to reassure them about doing something, strategy, whatever, then the best thing to do is show them the evidence, etc., etc. So getting somewhere, if you're dealing with someone like me who likes to get somewhere new, then it's always good to provide these people with possibilities, what could happen, exciting possibilities, and getting on well. For example, it's very important in meetings with people to make sure that they're happy in that meeting, that there's a lot of discussion. There's plenty of time to discuss and air thoughts. And I can't go through the whole grid, but I use this as a lookup table, so I'm hoping people will find that extremely useful.
Wonderful. This is actually quite useful, Dan. And I can already see I can visualize people with the 4 different tendencies that you've shown over here.
Good.
And although not directly as a framework, but I have used similar approaches when I'm dealing with the different tendencies, the different people with the different kinds of tendencies. So I can totally relate to this.
People do. When you start talking about this kind of concept, people can usually nod and go, "Oh yeah, I know people who are more like that." You can. I always have people in my mind when I'm thinking about some of these who are very strong. Very clearly in one area, have one tendency more than another. Actually, interestingly, my son, he's the reason I'm here today. Actually, I'm helping him move flat, as it happens. He edited the whole book brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly, and this is his favourite insight, his favourite framework from the whole book. He said this is really useful. So he's already kind of got this kind of thinking in mind when he's dealing with his colleagues.